What you get ready to do?
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that. Well, let me open it up to see what we're seeing here.
Magic bongos.
Let's do a reading. How about that? Hello. Now you do know. All day. Please.
I'm sorry.
All right. We are doing a reading.
Yes, indeedy.
Of.
Ooh, buddy.
Yes. Tell me about it.
I have to start off by saying this. I had a dream last night of a whole collection of little kids. Most of them look to be Mexican kids, Central American kids, little brown kids, little Indian kids in a cage.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like in a cage. I don't know how many. It was maybe 300, maybe 1,300. But it took me back to a thing that I'd had happen to me once when I was growing up. I was about 7, 8 years old, I think. And one day I went shopping downtown with my mother. Well, she went shopping. And somehow we got separated in a department store, big department store. And I remember the feeling of just disorientation, where's my mother?
Right.
And I couldn't find her for, I don't know, maybe an hour.
Wow.
It was a strange, disoriented feeling. I went all around the store. I didn't know what to ask anybody. You could walk up to the store managers, where's my mother? But anyway, the dream, I think it may be a reflection of concern or consideration of thinking about what has happened on the southern border of this country concerning the immigrant children that they've separated from their parents and so forth. Funny things that go on through your mind. Okay, let's go on to the snake doctor.
All right.
This is it.
That is the snake
This is
doctor.
the snake doctor.
All right, and you will be reading from it tonight.
This is it. My cup comes from Budapest. Given to me by one of your girlfriends, who gave it to you, and you gave it to me.
Yes, her husband. Okay.
Aptin
and Tiffany.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Gift. Yes.
Guys.
Okay. By way of the wife, certainly. Yes. So here we have The Snake Doctor.
The Snake Doctor.
By Odie Hawkins.
Right. Okay, I'm starting to read chapter 27 and chapter 28.
This is true.
This is going right on here.
Yes, it is.
And pretty soon it'll be all over. And we won't have to hear about it anymore.
We'll have to get another
until
one.
you buy your copy. Yes. The singing maid. If you only knew how...
Wait a minute. You're doing 23, 24. Oh yeah, all right. 20. Okay. 27 and 28.
Yes.
Okay.
Because yesterday I ended with Salena took a long sip from her glass and placed it on the ground near the bench. She reached over and gently lifted his glass from his hand. Kofi, can you kiss me? I like the way you kiss. I don't want to quarrel.
Right. Okay.
That was the end of chapter 26.
Okay.
So now this is chapter 27.
Yes. Okay. how to fix it. Hey.
Ah, yes, the singing maid. If she only knew how lovely that makes my days begin.
Mm-hmm.
He did a slow body stretch in bed. Have to find some place to do a little workout. I'm beginning to feel stiff. Salena Sarpong, the thought of her made him smile. Lady was full of surprises.
Mm-hmm.
Kisses and a slow dance in the schoolroom at Susan's place. More kissing. An impulsive taxi ride to the ocean.
Mm.
Kofi, let's charter a taxi for an hour. I would like to take a walk on Love Body Beach with you. You got it. Body warm breezes. The ocean softly slapping against the shore. He had to explain what made him cry. Oh, Kofi, you're crying. Why are you crying? I just felt this strange feeling. It was almost as though I could feel my ancestors being herded onto ships from this beach. Maybe from the very spot we're standing on. Salena scuffed her toes around in the warm sand, silenced by what he told her, and then they kissed again. She pushed him away, held him at arm's length. We must stop this kissing so much. You are making me feel very hot. You're the boss, sweetheart. You're the boss. But we don't have to stop immediately. Kofi stared at his erection as though in a appendage between his legs that he had no control over. Let's see how this plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Riding away from the beach, he had given her a basic outline of why he had gone to Chiteau and the detective work he was going to have to do. This is very interesting, very interesting. So, you are going to see this auntie's niece first thing tomorrow. And then what? Hopefully she'll be able to tell me where to find this girl, the woman who ran away from the village because she was pregnant. And then, later in the evening, about 6 o'clock, you will go with me to a performance of the National Dance Ensemble of Ghana. I would love to go with you anywhere. We'll meet at 6. Can you kiss me some more?
Uh-huh.
Coach had discovered a vital element of the Osu telegraph system, the taxi drivers. Do you know Brother Kwame? There are many Kwames in Ghana here. He gave a beef sheet description of his favorite driver. The taxi driver knew him. Oh, Kwame Asedu, I know him well. Please let him know that I'd like to see him at the Grain Leaf Hotel tomorrow morning about 10 o'clock. I will pass the word for sure. 2,000 extra CDs to dash was almost a guarantee that Brother Kwame would receive the message before the end of the day. Taxi drivers were better than tour guides. My directions say that the person I'm looking for lives behind a large green gate, the third house from the corner. Aunt Eugenia had given him the best address she could describe. I will give you also her post office box, but it will be easy for you to find her house. She lives in Kanda. And it was easy.
Wow.
It was easy. The large houses in the area were protected by guards, men who sat on little benches beside the house gates all day. What a boring job that must be. His taxi driver only had to ask one of the guards for the information he needed. This man says that Madame is just there at GBC. GBC, the Ghana Broadcast Company. Wonder what she's doing there. 5 blocks east. Good. Let's go to GBC. Kofi felt at ease with the drill after having gone through it so many times with his father. The approach to the gates of the studio, a question from the utterly serious guard with the baggy uniform and the cap that was too large for his pin head. The person you wish to see, sir? My name is Kofi Brown. I'm an African-American producer here to see Mrs. Grace Boulevard. Do you have an appointment, sir? No, I do not need an appointment. But she's expecting me, and she will be very disappointed and annoyed if I'm prevented from seeing her. Kofi had noticed that the Ghanaian response was quickened by the judicious use of 4 words: annoyed, dash, proper, and African American. The guard studied his clipboard and nibbled on the race of his number 2 pencil for a moment. Kofi debated dashing him, but decided not to. Either he'll let me in or he won't. Madame Boulevard Ajay is there, around the corner of this building, and then the first building on your left, the 2nd floor. She is very busy. Your taxi must wait outside. The current taxi driver, he hadn't asked his name, was already backing into a convenient space. I am parking here. I shouldn't be long. You say? This won't take a long time. The driver was already slumped in his seat, a handkerchief covering his face. It didn't matter. He had been chartered for 2 hours. Kofi took his time strolling through the studio. So this is the Media Nerve Center of Ghana. People were moving fast up the GBC studio on the GBC studio lot that he had seen people moving during the 2 weeks he had been in the country. Looks like the media is the media is the media is the media wherever you go. People with briefcases, scripts in hand with ballpoints tucked behind their ears, seemed to be oblivious of him, the walls around them, or anything other than their immediate goal. Oh, sorry, old boy. The man bumping into him, and the completely English that erupted from the man was almost funny. No doubt where he learned his English, and judging from his pipe, old school tie, and tweed suit, where he learned how to dress. First building on my left, 2nd floor. The name neatly stenciled on the door. Grace Boulevard Ajay, producer. The secretary, a large-framed brown girl painting her fingernails, looked up at him as though she had been ambushed. Who are you? What do you want? It wasn't the secretarial greeting that he was used to, but he'd been on the scene long enough to know how to deal. My name is Kofi Brown, an African-American producer, and Madame is expecting me. The secretary placed her nail kit on the floor underneath her desk, stared at him for clues, and took 3 barefoot steps to the door behind her desk. She tapped gently and opened the door. Mrs. Ajay, there is this African-American man here who says that you are expecting him. Suddenly, through a wide crack in the door, he was being studied by Mrs. Grace Boulevard Ajay. He would always recall the blinking eyes, the door suddenly thrown open, the woman's warm embrace. Oh, Kocho, come in, come in. I'm so glad to see you. You could have been my son, you know? If I decided to marry your father, just think of it. I could have been your mother. And I could have been your son, but I think it all worked out pretty well anyway, don't you think? And the name is Kofi, not Kocho. Kofi. After the initial excitement witnessed by the barefoot secretary, Mrs. Boulevard Ajay sat Kofi Brown in a chair, pulled another chair in front of him, and studied his features for a long minute. Perhaps her son would have been a shade darker, but no big thing, eh? Kofi felt that he was in the presence of a dynamic personality. And she's a fine woman, he thought. I thought African women were supposed to be breasts and butts. This lady's got some legs, too. I wonder if I'm being blasphemously incestuous here. After all, this could have been my mother. Evidently, the thought intrigued both of them because they felt an instant bond. Kofi, I was about to do lunch, as you say in America. Would you like to join me? I'd be privileged to join you. Kofi smiled, watching the familiar producer wrap up just before lunch, the producer on the phone. Michael, I'm not going to say this to you again. If you can't shave 7 minutes from your program, then I will have someone else who can. Are you getting me? Yes, R4, my dear. I have read your script, and I find it not quite up to GBC standards. I would suggest that you go back through it and carefully orchestrate some of the more attractive elements. What are these elements? You tell me, dear. I'm simply a dumb producer. Hello, Daniel. Yes, I did receive your script, and I loved a couple of ideas in it. My suggestions are many, so I won't try to give them all to you at once. I would suggest you reread your script and make a determination based on the core audience base that you're trying to reach as to what will work and what won't work. Yes, call first. Finally, they were ready to do lunch. Maria, please take messages for me after you finish doing your nails. I will take the messages, Miss Ajay. Be sure that you do, because if I find that you have missed one of them whilst you were decorating your nails, you will be sacked. Are you getting me? Yes, Mrs. Ajay, I understand. Come, Kojo. Kofi. Kofi. Yes, of course, Kofi. But you look so like Kojo. Come, we have an hour to talk about a lot of things. How about the Afrikiko Garden? They have a great fufu with plantain there, and the beer is always cold. Are you mobile? I have a taxi waiting. I like that. Once you know, we'll be prepared. Afrikiko Gardens. A large outdoor restaurant, 25 tables and busy, bustling waiters and waitresses. Yes, madame. As you can see, it's mostly a media bunch. She informed him as she smiled at this one, waved to that one, and gestured to a man for him to call her. Kofi saw a scaled down Hollywood Beverly Hills theme. Maybe they called it Ghana Wood or something. And Mrs. Oliver Ajay was definitely in the mix. She was one of the few people in the restaurant with a cell phone. Please excuse me, Kofi, I must take this call. It's quite important. Ah, yes, Mr. Yanka. So good of you to return my call. Yes, I should. I can assure you I'm quite prepared. See, GBC looks forward to broadcasting your documentary about the effect of global warming on Ghana here. I will be in my office this afternoon, say about 3-ish, if you would like to pay me a visit to look in some of the tail ends of this venture. Tomorrow? Yes, indeed, tomorrow at 3 will be fine. And thank you for your prompt supply. I have the response. Bye-bye. Grace Hulbo Ajay turned back to Kofi with a wide smile. She looked like a soccer player who just scored a goal. Well, this is Ajay. Oh, please call me Grace. Well, Grace, you look as though you just scored a winning goal. In a way, I have wanted to produce one of Mr. Yanka's award-winning documentaries for a long time. And now he's giving me the opportunity. I'm elated. What do we have? Waiter! Kofi had to smile at the lady's bursts of energy. She seemed to be in motion even while she was seated, and her conversation was equally energetic. So tell me, Kofi, son of Kojo, we would have been an excellent match if I wanted to go to America. Or if he had decided to stay in Ghana here. But one cannot draw meat. One cannot chew meat from bones that are 20-some years old, can one? I don't think so. Now then, about this business of tracking down this girl who left Chito with a Asiafo baby in her belly, it was years ago. But that's no problem for Ghana here. Some things remain the same for years. Are you having the fufu and goat stew? It's excellent. I'll take your recommendation. And waiter, please make the ABC lager cold. I want it cold. We want it cold. Dynamic, forceful, driven. Kofi couldn't imagine her as his mother. The contrast between his mother, a cool, dynamic, but laid-back lady, was clearly distinct from this woman who might have been his mother if circumstances had been different. Grace, let me ask you, where would I find this girl, this woman that they named Kutu? So you know that too. Of course, Auntie Eugenia remembers everything. Everything. She paused briefly, studying her well-manicured nails. Ah, I was told some time ago that she was seen in the Makolo market here in Osu. Yes, that's what I heard. But she was not living in Osu then or now. How can you be so sure? If she lived in Osu, I would know of it. Osu has no secrets. Now then, logically, since she was not affluent when she left Shito to come to Accra, she would not be living in Labone, Kanda, or any of the other upscale areas here. She would be living in the poorest section of Accra. What's that? Jamestown. Jamestown. That doesn't sound like Ghanaian at all. You're right, but in some ways it's more Ghanaian than a whole bunch of other places. Our food and beer have finally arrived. Bon appetit. Lunch with the woman who might have been his mother was delicious. Both the fufu, goat soup, cold beers, and the quicksilver observations and conversation he had with Grace Khulevor Ajari. Kofi, I think that the story you're pursuing would make a perfectly delightful and legitimate two-part program. But unfortunately, I'm not dealing with people who see the real value of such stories. Isn't the goat stew delicious? Fabulous. One of the reasons I could never leave Ghana is that I would starve to death elsewhere. If the powers that be here at GBC had enough imagination, they would be all over a story like this. I would love to produce it, but they have a tendency to think like their stories about the real Ghana. But I heard your conversation with Mr. Yanka. It's going forward for two reasons. Number one, I fought tooth and nail to have the green light on this documentary. And secondly, since Mr. Yanka is a member of a very prominent family, the studio heads felt compelled to meet me halfway on this project. Ghana is locked into the who you know what can be done syndrome. Matters are changing slowly, but not fast enough to suit me. I'm having another beer. Will you join me? After 2 beers each and the delicious fufu goat stew, Mrs. Khulevor Ajay announced, I have lined the walls of my fortress. I'm anxious to get back to the battle. Well, I feel sorry for whomever you're going to do battle with, because they will definitely be at a disadvantage. When they deposited her, when she came down in front of the GBC gates, she erupted from the taxi and reached back inside to hold his hand, to hold his face in both of her hands. Inches away from his face, she whispered, I love your father, Kofi. I will always love him for the joy and intelligence he brought to my life. I have 2 children, a successful marriage and a successful career. But I tell you, your father was the one true love of my life. You may tell him that. I will tell him that. Concerning this matter of Kutu, I must warn you that there may be juju involved. There it was again, juju. What the hell were they talking about? All I can say is thank you for your advice. If I can help you in any way, don't hesitate to contact me. We are now on chapter 28. As you can see, things are moving along.
They are. They certainly are. Wow.
Later that day, a quick daiquiri at Susan's place with Salena and a bit of advice from Susan. Kofi, I would be very careful about going to Jamestown. It's not one of the nicest places of Accra. Excuse me, Zacharias is signaling his yes, sir, madam, for help with something. How did you know I was planning to do business to go to Jamestown or something? Did you not say that you had met with Grace Khulevor Ajay at the Ghana Broadcast Corporation today? Yes. She and Susan are good friends, and after all, it is the GBC. Are you getting me? Well, live and learn. It's 5:30. Don't you think we should be on our way? Salena laughed. The performance is scheduled to begin at 6, but I doubt if it will start on time. In any case, the auditorium is only a few minutes away. Kofi, you know something? I'm beginning to like you too much.
Nice.
Dear Dad, yesterday night, as they say in Ghana here, I paid Mrs. Grace Hulavar, I discovered Mrs. Grace Hulavar Adjai a visit. She is a producer at GBC and a dynamic personality. We did lunch, as they say in Hollywood, and she told me a number of very interesting things. I'll save them for my return. She also gave me an interesting lead concerning Kutu, the girl who ran away from Chito. News travels like lightning here. I met with Mrs. Hulavar Ajay, and 2 hours later at Susan's place, Susan was almost able to give me a blow-by-blow accounting of what we talked about. Today I'm going to do a little overdue shopping at the National Cultural Center. And so it goes. But the big news, so far as I'm concerned, happened yesterday night when I went to a performance of the National Dance Ensemble of Ghana with my girlfriend, her official designation, Salena-Hawkins. We got to the theater at 6:15 for a program that was supposed to start at 6 p.m. Promptly at 7 p.m. The curtains opened on this bare football-sized stage, and from that point, it was on. The bare stage became, during the course of the 2 hours that followed, a small village nestled in a valley near a waterfall. It was the scene of two opposing armies fighting to determine who should become the next king. It became a forest filled with ghostly trees that tried to bring harm down onto the errant lovers who were having a romance in their shade. A full-fledged soccer game, never seen anything like it. Soccer dances playing in time to the rhythms of some of the most intricate drumming I've ever heard in my life. The score is tied 1-1 when the soccer dancers danced onto the sidelines, opening the door for a dance about a wedding abduction party from northern Ghana. My favorite was the story of a young man who was trying to court two of the village cutie pies at the same time and loses both of them because he spent so much time in a local bar boasting about himself. There was much more. The stilt walker dances alone would take all the pages I could give him, and the acrobats who gave me the impression they were flying through the air. A beautiful evening of songs, dances, scenes, drumming. I'm definitely enjoying myself in Ghana here. This afternoon, after my little shopping spree, I'm going to Jamestown to check out a lead on the girl from Chito. Love, Kofi.
Be careful.
Brother Kwame, good to see you. Long time, eh? Well, not really, but it seems that way. Let me explain what I need. I want to divide my day into two parts with you. This morning, I want to go to the National Cultural Center for a little kente cloth shopping. They tell me that it's the best place to go for kente. Very good, sir, very good. I'll come back to the hotel, rest for a couple hours, and then I'd like to go to Jamestown. He felt a little elitist telling the taxi driver that he was going to rest after shopping, while the driver was going to be out in the hot sun driving here and there. Jamestown, sir? That's where the trail seems to be leading. What time should I collect you? Let's say about 6. Kofi got the distinct impression that Brother Kwame was not overjoyed at the prospect of tripping to Jamestown. But he was a pro. If Jamestown was on the agenda, then so be it. 3 hours later, Kofi dropped 10 pounds of kente cloth in the corner of his hotel room, worn out from trying to hold his own with a succession of kente cloth sellers. Damn, I never knew they had so many different kinds of kente. Brother Kwame had walked through the narrow aisles of the kente cloth section with him. So, Mr. Brown, I speak 5 Ghanaian languages, but I cannot help you here. I know nothing of kente cloth. He was certain that he'd been cheated in all of his transactions. But what did it come to? The difference between $5 and $6. Brother Kwame, 6 p.m., okay? I'll need you for 2 hours. I will be here, son. Time for a shower. A nice long siesta. How far is Jamestown from Osu, Brother Kwame? It is just there, sir. Not far at all. But everybody makes it sound like it's a long way. Oh, not so far. We can take this road. It goes along the ocean. We go through the Accra Center, and just there is Jamestown. You will see. Now then, let me ask you this. Yes, sir? If you wanted to find someone like the person I'm looking for, where would you begin? Brother Kwame pursed his lips, a familiar expression when he was thinking hard. I would begin in a popular drinking bar. You must ask the person who owns the bar what you wish to know, and then return later for the answer. Like fishing, huh? Yes, sir, like fishing. News travels faster in Jamestown than it does in Osu. That's pretty fast. I'll double up on the speed. I'll go to 3 bars. That's a very good idea. Looking at the sunset in the ocean with the magic pastel shadings made him wish that he had brought a camera with him. No biggie. It'll be in my mind forever. What is that awful smell? Jamestown, sir. Jamestown. It comes from there, the slaughterhouse. A huge grim building blotted out the sunset and the streets narrow. The drainage ditches stank, and Kofi noticed the people seemed dirty. An unusual thing for Ghanaians who always seem to be bathing or about to bathe. But it was the stench from the slaughterhouse that made the biggest impression. That must be a horrible way to start your day, smelling something like dead, rotting rats. If you live in Jamestown, you wouldn't be aware of it. Guess you got a point. Where would you suggest I make my first stop? There, sir. The big outdoor drinking bar. I will remain in my taxi to prevent problems. The expression, like a virgin in the prison exercise yard, came to his mind, and he stepped out of the taxi and walked the 10 steps to the entrance to the Pito bar. Pito is a homemade liquor-like occupation. The place was half filled with men and women who looked as though they lived there. No one paid him any obvious, overt attention, but he couldn't help but notice that the loud conversation became muted as he entered the bar and took a seat against the wall. Well, if they're going to stick a knife in my back, they'll have to climb up behind me. He could see Brother Kwame through the open side of the bar. He wasn't power napping as usual whenever they stopped somewhere for longer than 10 minutes. He was clearly on the alert, carefully checking out the streams of people going back and forth on the rutted road. The man standing in front of his handkerchief-sized table gave no indication that he was a waiter. Kofi took a chance. You have ABC lager? We have, but the bottle is not cold. The fridge is spoiled. Yeah, I'll take it. The man strolled away, not at all like the brisk walking waiters and waitresses he had become accustomed to. Kofi studied the people passing the Pito bar. They were obviously the dregs of Accra. Large numbers of handicapped people, polio victims who scuttle along like giant crabs on their elbows and knees. I wonder what kind of polio that is. People without noses, fingers, toes, leprosy. The thought jarred him. Leprosy, they have leprosy here. Little children with bloated bellies and reddish-colored hair. Nutritional deficiency. They call it kwashkwewe. Kwashkwewe. clots of young men who looked mean and evil, and they flowed past as though they had no destination. Inside the bar, as the conversation started up again by a few decibels, he heard the word Obruni. Well, at least I've been recognized officially. He had decided to sip a glass of beer before approaching the fat man behind the bar, who gave the impression of being the owner. 3,000 CDs, the waiter announced as he placed the unopened bar on the table. Well, it was usually 2, but I guess the one more is for my Oblumi tax. The man produced a bottle opener and popped the cap off the bottle after he gave him a 5,000 CD note. Smart man. If I didn't want to pay, they would put the bottle back in the warm place it came from. No harm, no foul. The warm beer wasn't bad. It was liquid and it quenched his thirst. He thought about taking Brother Kwame a soft drink, a Maltina maybe, but decided against it. May I seat with you? It only took a glance to see that the lady was a prostitute. The slit open from the front dress, the low neckline, the loud, cheap perfume, too much lipstick, and her attitude said it all. You may not sit with me, but if you want to sit at the chair across from me, be my guest. He knew it was important to establish the perimeters right away. No, honey, I'm not looking for love in all the wrong places. She sat on the edge of the chair and poured her full bosom out at him. Will you buy me a beer? No, but I'll share this one with you. He signaled to his waiter with the hand down, pulling motion that meant come. The waiter approached the table with an evil grin on his face. Yes? Would you please bring me another glass for my friend here? The prostitute frowned and the waiter's grin disappeared. That's right. Understand who I am right now. A cheap O'Bruni who is out looking for love, who is not out looking for love, but information. He noticed the eye-to-eye exchange between the waiter and the pro. What's with this one? What do you make of it? Why is he here? Kofi filled the lady's glass and poured himself a half glass. What's your name? I'm called Daphne. Well, he was looking at you, Daphne. He tossed his glass against hers, took a sip. She took a big swallow, eyeing the rest of the beer in the bottle. Now, Daphne, let's get down to the reason why I'm here. She pouted her breasts out a little more, viciously eyeing a couple rivals who had occupied a nearby table. Yes, let's get down to your business. I'm willing to give you a small dash for some information. You will dash me for information? What information? I'm looking for a woman named Kutu. She may have a child about my age, but she may have other children also. It suddenly occurred to Kofi that he didn't know whether Kutu had a male or a female child. And after so many years, how many more? He slid the 2,000 CD note across the tiny table into her eager hand. Well, here we go. Kutu, I don't know this person. Maybe my friends will know. Hey, Betty, Mabel. Daphne's 2 friends rushed to their table smelling O'Bruni money in the air. The other patrons looked on with great amusement, making comments in their corrupt Jamestown garb. What do you think? The O'Bruni has 3 pricks? Who can say? A rich O'Bruni might have 3 pricks. They tell bawdy jokes.
Of course.
Daphne blindsided Kofi with her comment. My friend here wants to know where he can find this woman named Kutu. He's willing to give 10,000 CDs for the correct information. Kofi gave her an approving nod. The correct information was the clincher. Betty and Mabel stared at Kofi as though he were a piece of raw meat. 10,000 CDs, you said? Mabel asked to have the amount verified by him. Yes, 10,000 for the correct information. Betty and Mabel stood to leave them. Let us see what happens. Betty said as she strolled away looking for more immediate prey. Thank you, Daphne. How do you say thank you in Ghana? Oi wala don. Oi wala don. He poured the rest of the beer in her glass and stood up to leave. She held his wrist. You are a strong young man. You only want to buy information? She let the split in front of her dress open a bit. Information only, Daphne, information only. Oi wala don. He nodded to the regulars as he strolled out. A nice bunch. They would look as though they could slice me in sections and sell me if someone offered them the right price for my body.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Jamestown, and the Jamestown we went to was a lot more desperate than the one I remember. Going on to chapter 29, we're going to start off at the Whatever Bar.
Oh my, okay.
That's the title of the place, the Whatever Bar.
The Whatever Bar.
Whatever.
Okay, 27, 28. Wow. Whoa. That was exciting.
Y'all give it us. If you went to Ghana, if you went to Accra, tomorrow, and you wanted to go around and, make it seem as though you knew something about the town itself, you could ask somebody, I have friends in Osu, which way is Kanda, where's Atablaka, where's Labone, where's Labadi? They renamed Labadi La.
Right.
Jamestown, everybody.
They're tearing up Jamestown now, apparently, but
is that the latest?
yeah. Kojo, he wrote a book. Kojo Yanka.
Kojo Yanka, he wrote
a book. From
Who's Kojo Yanka?
You're a good friend. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he's written a book called Jamestown.
Right.
From Jamestown to Jamestown.
Jamestown, yeah, from Jamestown in Ghana to Jamestown here.
Or is it the other way around? Jamestown, England to Jamestown. Jamestown, Virginia to Jamestown, Ghana.
Yeah, vice versa. Yeah.
I've read it a couple times. It's a good book.
Very good book.
So that's where we are at this point. And
your book, The Snake Doctor. Okay, by Odie Hawkins, can be purchased on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore. Just go in and say, I want a copy of The Snake Doctor by Odie Hawkins. Thank you for the readings of chapter 27 and 28. Your website is www.odiehawkins.com, and you are on the author's page on Amazon.
Who took the picture of you?
I did, Zola Salena-Hawkins.
And you are?
Zola Salena-Hawkins, your wife.
Okay. Now that everybody's been, who took the picture in the back?
That one also I took of you. Okay. All right. Definitely.
So you're a photographer?
This too. But this too, I am a photographer as well. Yes.
Say it loud.
You are a writer and I am a photographer.
Okay.
Thank you very
much.
Glad to hear
that. Sometimes I don't recognize you because you talk so softly. And I can't hear very well.
Well, I zoomed on up on you in that one. So, with that.
Well, today is Friday.
Right, so.
Let's look at tomorrow.
Okay.
For the next chapter. Or two.
Ashe.
Ashe.